When you've had enough, when the crowd gets rough.
Well, welcome to Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Story time. Wanda, we're going to add you in. Let me just make sure I got the right layout. Hold on a minute, girl.
There she goes.
That one our pink.
Yes. How you
Pink one.
doing?
I'm well.
All right. Well, let me just introduce us into the show. I don't like that layout.
Get my glasses
But
on.
I was hoping for a different layout. Okay.
Wanda, I miss your pink hair.
Well,
I know.
the people here in Florida can do it like they do at home.
Got it. Back home.
Right.
And I do miss it too, Wanda. I tell people all the time about it being a breast cancer awareness type thing and a conversation to have.
Yes.
When I talk about you and your pink hair, one day I'm gonna buy me some pink hair or get it dyed.
Yes.
One day I'm gonna do it. I keep saying every year I'm gonna do it. But welcome to our Breast Cancer Awareness Month live broadcast. We are survivors, thrivers, and overcomers. I am Sylvia Reindock, and I am the host. And Wanda Gardner is here. She is a thriver. Yvette Torres, she's a survivor. We Wanda and I have been doing this for a couple of years, I believe. And so
Probably
three.
I think about at least 3.
3 years. And now we have Yvette who is here. Do I pronounce it Yvette or Yvette?
Well,
Yvette.
I pronounce it Yvette, but many people pronounce it Yvette. I respond to whatever.
Okay. So we have Yvette here, and she is well, sadly, she's joined us
Sadly.
in this journey. But we are grateful she's still here and that she even was able to join us. We hooked up earlier this year through affinity group that we all belong to when we all worked for the utility company, the local utility company here. And it's kind of ironic that we all have gone through breast cancer. So Yvette, why don't you go ahead, Yvette, and introduce yourself. I know I've called out your names and then Wanda, and then we'll get into the broadcast.
Okay. Well, as Sylvia stated, I am Yvette Torres, and I am so happy to join you. This is not a club that anyone wants to be a part of, but it helps so much when you have others that understand your journey. This is a journey that we should never walk alone. And actually, Wanda was my spiritual advisor throughout my journey. And that was the role that she took very serious, and I did too. And it just helps so much. So I am ready to share my story whenever you tell me. You just got to give me a limit because I can go on, girl. So just tell me how much time I have, and I'll try to keep it to that. But no, yeah, very happy.
I'll pull my hair. I'll straighten my hair up.
It's like that. Yeah, you do one of those, and I'll stop talking. But happy to be here today, and very honored that you invited me to be a part of this.
Thank you. Well, we're happy to have you. Welcome. Wanda, my girl Wanda.
Yes, my name is Wanda Gardner, and I am a 7-year thriver, more than a survivor. And this is not a club that you want to be a part of, but God saw fit for us all to carry that mantle. And because of that, I have to be an ambassador to make sure, especially women of color, that we get our mammograms, because early detection saves lives. We are your living witnesses. So.
All right. Well, my daughter just got hers last year because we have the mobile mammogram unit that comes to our office about 3 times a year. But we'll say more about that. But you're right. And I'm Sylvia Reindock, again, host and overcomer of breast cancer. And I'm grateful to still be here. And it's something that you don't want any woman to have to go through, or man. I've met a couple of men that have had breast cancer also. So it's not just women. Occasionally you do come across a man that has also gone through breast cancer. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Nobody's joined yet. We are live on Facebook We're live on LinkedIn and we're live on YouTube right now.
We're on
So
Facebook.
hopefully,
I'll make sure you see that we're on Facebook, right?
yeah, under my
Page.
yes.
Okay.
And so hopefully we'll get some people popping in. I think in the afternoon, I don't know, people just sometimes I think it's a good time at lunchtime, but then sometimes it's not. It's like morning or evening, people tend to pop in on lives. But yeah,
That's
we're
true.
live.
That's true.
Yeah, so we're live. Yep, I'm watching it.
Yep, I just checked it as well.
So yes. So again, welcome. Thank you guys, you two ladies, for joining me. Look like my hair is uneven, so I gotta like do something like this. But thank you, thank you. We've had our introductions again. We are overcomer, survivor, thrivers of breast cancer. This month, October, is always Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And so we want to bring awareness to breast cancer, remind women that know they need to get their mammogram to get a mammogram.
Yes.
Because early detection saves lives, as Wanda said earlier. And we're each going to be sharing a little bit of our story. Again, this is Wanda Gardner, Yvette Torres. We all worked at the same company at one time, but we are here together as pink sisters, I like to say, and we are just bringing awareness to breast cancer. And before I move on, we are having a mobile mammogram unit here at our office in Ontario, New York, on Friday the 14th from 9 to 4. So there is something on my page. I'm going to repost again, but it's never too late to sign up to get that mammogram. They prefer you to sign up, but they also take walk-ins. And so please sign up if you know you need a mammogram. If you're 40 and over and you have history in your family, you need to get a mammogram. And so we're going to get started. But before we do, I did go and find a statistic. Actually, I pulled this off of Facebook today. And it said, calling all ladies, did you know 85% of breast cancers occur in women who have no family history of breast cancer? Schedule your annual screening mammogram now. No physician referral necessary. You don't even need a referral to get that mammogram. And I had no history in my family at all. I don't know if you ladies had no history.
Neither did I.
None.
Neither did
None.
I.
Neither of us. Okay, so none of us had history in our family of breast cancer. So just because you don't have to say, oh, well, I don't have history. It doesn't matter. Breast cancer does not discriminate against anybody. So so I do have some questions that I wanted to share. Ask each one of us, and we'll just go in turn. And see, Wanda, why don't you go first? But the first question is, and Wanda, you kind of said it in your introduction, how many years has it been since you were diagnosed with breast cancer?
I remember all my dates. I got the call on December 6th, 2014.
Yeah,
Had
wait,
my
just
surgery.
answer how many years, because I got that's the
7.
other question.
7 years.
7 years. Okay, Yvette, I think you're pretty new.
I am the newest one, and I was diagnosed last year, and I was diagnosed on a day that most people remember. And by that, I'll explain why.
Okay, but I'm
Yes.
going to ask you.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you about the day, because that
Okay.
is one of the questions.
Okay.
You know, because that day is the day. Again, we never forget that day.
Yeah.
You know, and so for me, it's been 8 years because it was 2013. So 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19.
8. Yeah.
I like to use my fingers. I still use my fingers. But 8 years. So 8 for me. So Wanda was after me, and then Yvette, you were just last year.
Last year in January.
Yeah. So wow. But yeah, I do remember when Wanda you told me, and I think my hair was starting to come in, and you were wearing your Afro wig. And I
Yes.
think we were at a Christmas dinner, and that's when I found out
yes.
about you.
Hutchinson,
And,
yeah.
and
But
you said you just
your friend had told me about you.
who?
Tina from our church.
Oh, Tina Galvin, yeah, because she is also. I have to try to get her on here because she's also survivor of breast cancer, And Shirley, if she's watching to get a chance, Shirley too. She's an overcomer. Shirley Morgan.
Oh no, I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, I didn't know that either.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Hers
it's
was way before me. So
Oh,
if she
really.
wouldn't,
I didn't know that.
it was supposed to be a secret. Then I told it, Shirley. But no, it's been many years. For
Okay.
her, she was before me.
Okay.
And Tina was before me also.
Oh,
And
I
so
didn't.
the next question we are going to say, what was it like the day you received that call? And so I'm going to let Yvette go next, since and then Wanda. But what was that day like? And I know you remember the day and the date.
Yeah. Yeah. My date, like I said, was the date that most people remember. It was January 21st. And the reason why most people remember that, that was the day of Inauguration Day.
Mm,
And I am a political and news junkie. I watch every single, I worked in my prior world, I worked in government and community relations. So I watched the news all the time. And I didn't want to miss that. J-Lo was singing, Amanda Gorman was reciting her poetry. I wanted to watch all of that. So for a second, and not for a second, I would say more than that, I contemplated on not going for my mammogram.
mm,
And I was just, I can call, I can reschedule, but it's COVID, it's going to take 2 or 3 months. And I don't know what, it was a very cold day. I said, well, I just finished watching the inauguration at Elizabeth Wendy, which is where I went. And sure enough, right there, they started, they started checking me. They did the mammogram, asked me if I had gained or lost any weight. I just thought, everybody has gained weight. It's COVID. I'm working from home. Yeah, I gained weight. So I was at my heaviest weight. And, that turned into something doesn't look right. Let's get an ultrasound. And next thing you know is we've got to check with the doctor. And all I remember is a white coat, a lady in a white doctor's coat coming in to see me and speak to me. And she told me right there, I'm a straight shooter. This looks cancerous.
Wow.
So that
wow.
is how it started for me. And the next day I had to go for an MRI to see if I had gotten to my lymph nodes. And so that day, January 21st, is when the journey started for me. There's been a ton of things after that, but January 21st, 2021, Inauguration Day, that was when it started
Wow.
for me. Yeah.
Wow. January 1/21/21.
Yes.
Mm,
Wow. Wow.
Yes.
So, well, thank you for sharing. Like I say, we'll never forget that day. Wonder what was
well,
it like the day you received the
I
call?
had went in to do my mammogram, but that particular day, I didn't want to wait. I wanted to go home and get my cleaning done.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So I went home and got my cleaning done. And I think they called me to come back.
Mhm.
And I was just at peace with it. I really was. But they called me in, they did the ultrasound, and she said she saw something. I told her I had been in an accident, a car accident, and she kind of thought, well, I thought it was from the accident, but like
Mhm.
Yvette said, she wanted me right then and there. I did my biopsy,
Right. Me too.
and she wanted to put a marker in me.
Oh,
Mhm.
Now I
wow.
know nothing about no marker, and she was a doctor, but I didn't know nothing about her. So I had a friend that's a director at Highland, and I was like, I need to call my friend at Highland, and she was like, well, I'm a doctor, and I'm like, and I don't know you, because all I could think of was when I travel, that marker is gonna hold me up from going through the express
Oh,
line.
Oh, wow.
So I didn't understand what the marker was for.
mhm.
So I called my girlfriend and she told me it's okay. So I got the marker done and they told me it was cancer.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, no. They did the test. They did the test. She called me on. So what happened was I was supposed to find out and I didn't. They said they had to do more tests. She called me and said we had to do more tests. So when she called me to say they have to do more tests, she said to me, "Will you be home?" I said, "No, I'm going to be at work." And she said, "No, we want to call you when you're home, and we want someone to be with you." So when she said that, I
Yeah.
kind of knew because she said to me, I was the nervous type. I guess
Wow.
because I wanted to call my girlfriend about the marker. So it was on a Saturday, and my girlfriend was cooking dinners, selling dinners on West Avenue. So I had my nephew. I picked him up that day to keep my mind off of it, and I was in my girlfriend's place of business when I got the phone call. And at that point, I called my sister to say this. I never told anyone what was going on until then. And when I got the call, I was at my girlfriend's restaurant. So it was December 6th, 2014.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I
And I was
mean,
devastated. I let my sister talk. I didn't even
uh-huh.
talk to the doctor. I didn't want to hear all of that. But she
Wow.
said it was treatable and curable.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Well,
That was
and this with me, the doctor told me, well, it looks very small. Don't worry. It looks really small. And at that time, all I knew about breast cancer was stage 1, 2, 3, and 4. I didn't know the different, types of cancer within stage 1, 2, 3, and 4. I didn't know the difference between invasive and non-invasive. I didn't know the difference between an aggressive type of breast cancer and one that is not. So, she goes, it's small. So I got the horrible news. I went through all my emotions, obviously lots of crying, and telling the family was probably the hardest thing I had to do.
Yeah.
But still in my mind, I'm thinking, it's stage 1. Maybe it's not so horrible. It doesn't sound horrible because they're telling me stage 1. What happened once I went to the breast cancer surgeon, he confirmed, yes, it's stage 1. However, it's the triple negative. And he went on to explain what the triple negative is. And right there, then my world again sank because, okay, it's stage 1, but it's a very aggressive form of breast cancer. And, this is what has to be done. And this is what has to be done quickly. So, I just all I kept hearing that day. And again, no family was there with me or anything. It was COVID. My sister was FaceTiming me. But all I remember writing down were all the negative words he told me, because that's all I heard. I couldn't even process the positive. So I remember writing aggressive, negative, I just remember all those really negative words. And then, until I started doing more research to really understand more, all I remember were those negative words. Thank God my sister was listening to the FaceTime call, because like you, Wanda, you just can't even process it so much. And then I got to I called my sister and I go, that you just hear what they told me. I've got a very aggressive, I'm going to die. That's all I'm thinking. And I'm crying at my sister. And it still makes me very emotional.
Yes.
My sister told me, yes, I heard all those negative words, but I also heard hope. We've got to move quickly on this. We've got to do this, this, and this. So she heard everything I couldn't even hear that day.
Yeah, I was in shock. So what was it like today? So I was actually home with my husband. But thank you, Yvette, for sharing that part. But I think I was more in shock.
Yeah.
But I was home with my husband. It was 2 days after Christmas, December the 27th, 2013, when I got the call. And it was a shocker for me. And leading up to that was what had happened is, so my birthday is in December the 7th. And I think the second week, my husband had said he noticed something different with my breast, because one day in that second week I happened to look and I might have did this, and it was like protruding on the inner part, like a lump was, you could see it. It was like, I was like, wow, like all of a sudden, like it wasn't there and all of a sudden it was there. And I was like, wow. And I had a biopsy about 3-4 years prior, because I had a little pea-sized lump over here up under my arm, and they said, I'm pretty sure it's going to be benign, and it was. But what had happened is I had gone probably, because I was going every year after I turned 40, but I had gone like a year and a half and I hadn't got my mammogram. And that's why we wanted to say, get that mammogram, because early detection saves lives. And so, I believe had I been going, maybe it wouldn't, because it had grown. I mean, apparently, who knows? They didn't take it out. I know some women will get those benign tumors out, because if it's benign, it means it's just a cyst. But some women will get them out, especially if they end up like always. I had my brother girlfriend used to get a lot of them. But I'm thinking this thing could have moved from over here to over here and grew. But they don't even recommend you get them out. I think you request. So anyway, ended up, and y'all, I knew that this was not going to be good. In my knower, I knew it was not going to be good. Nobody, and so I had gone to life group. I said, y'all pray for me because this is what they found. There's a lump, and I hadn't even had it biopsy yet. I just said, y'all pray for me. But all the time I knew that it wasn't going to be good, and then I was going to have to go through this. And so we, got the biopsy, and it came back that it was cancer. Got the call, and I basically was in shock, like I said, and like Yvette, they start throwing terminology at you that you have no clue. And so my husband was in the garage. He was off from work for Christmas. We had just switched over to a medical plan that was less money because we were pretty healthy people. That's what we said. And it was just me and him. So we said, let's go with this one. And so he had to run to work while he was off from work, and they were still, and say, I need you to switch that medical plan back right now because my wife just got a diagnosis of breast cancer. Wow. And so, I went to the back door, and he was in the garage and say, look, this is what just happened. And he's like, he's in shock. And then he thought of that, and he ran to work. And then I'm like trying to write everything down. The surgeon is telling me, and you're right, Yvette, you just hit the negative words, but what I did love is that when you do get diagnosis and they do call you, their goal is to get this out of you as quick as possible. And so they start talking surgeons and all that. And, do you have a surgeon? Well, no, I've never had breast cancer, So, but that was what it was like the day I got my call. Basically, I was more in shock. I didn't cry. I was just in shock. I think the crying definitely came later, but I was more in shock, and eventually told family after we got the plan of how we were gonna, do this with the surgeries and stuff. But I was in shock the day that I got it. 2 days after Christmas.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So Wanda was December, I was December, and Yvette, you were January. Wow. Okay, so
Christmas was when I told my family.
Huh?
I waited to after Christmas to tell my family.
Right.
So did I.
Yeah. I waited till, I told my husband right away, but the next day I told the rest of my family. And that was probably the hardest part. I've been asked what was the hardest part.
Yes.
Me, I come from a very close family and, very close inner circle also. And that to me was the hardest part, just letting the others know, because there was, just a lot of emotion. But, it was, you can't go through it alone. You just can't.
No, you can't. You can't. So, and that's a good
I
question.
had to wait 20 days to tell mine because
so that's what I was gonna.
After
girl, I don't know how you held it.
20 days.
Yeah.
So I was gonna ask how you, what Yvette said. So how did you tell your family? How did you tell your family? Because I did it. But how did you tell your family?
Yeah, with me, for the most part, I called. I did two things. Well, I called my sisters, and they were at my house almost immediately. My three sisters came just like almost immediately. They were at my door. They all came, from different towns, nearby, and they came by. Then what we decided to do, my one brother was in Puerto Rico, lives in Puerto Rico, and he's there. My other brother was in Florida, so I knew I had to tell them first before I kept telling the rest of the family. So what we did was we FaceTimed them. So my sisters were here with me. I started FaceTiming them. Then I FaceTime my goddaughter. I FaceTime my cousins, my nieces, nephews, things like that. The rest of the extended family, most of it was FaceTime. But there's so many people. And one thing that I changed in my family, and we can talk a little bit later about this if you want, within Hispanic families, you don't talk about cancer much. And I was determined to change that narrative in my family. I knew that some family members had cancer, but you don't talk about it because you don't want to worry the family. And I'm there, no, I need to tell my family, I need to tell my niece, I need to tell my sisters, and the sooner the better, because who knows what I'm carrying that they may be carrying also. I want this narrative to change for them. So within my family, I broke that barrier immediately. And I
Awesome.
started all of them. And, the ones that I couldn't get to, because there were so many, I just drafted a text message and then just copied and paste, copied and paste.
Mhm.
My phone was like blasting all over the place. I mean, I was getting calls, text messages, people coming over. It was, it was just a blur, but I was determined that as a Latina, that was not going to happen with my journey. And even at work, I told them, if anybody asks about me, feel free to tell them this is what I have them call me. I would be happy to talk about it.
Okay. Wow. Well, I love that. I love that you were gonna we're gonna change this. We're gonna talk about cancer because of course you don't want anybody else to go through it either.
Yeah. And I'll talk a little bit more later about that, but I want to
Okay.
hear Wanda.
Wanda.
Well, my extended family, I think my immediate family told them. But when my sister, of course, was at the restaurant, and my good girlfriend Lorna and her family, they were there, and they were just crying. They were just
Mhm.
crying. It was a mess.
Yes.
So I went home and I call them my god sisters, the ones who were just visited me in Florida. I called them,
Mm-hmm.
and they all came from wherever they were to the house.
Mm-hmm.
And what we did to kind of not break the ice, but to get me through that, I had just brought up my decorations to decorate my tree. Well, of course, I had no energy to do that, and they can decorate a tree. So
Mm-hmm.
they all decorated my tree that day. And like I said, I waited to tell my children until after. I told my daughter, and she was like, I said, well, you're the oldest. I wanted to tell you. She said, you could have kept that. And I think I told my church
Wow.
family right away because it was a select group, elders and, people who I knew, I mean, not all of them could get a prayer through, but it was just who the Lord led me to share with. So I told my church family right away, a select group. And then
Right.
I think
Right.
with my cousins, I think my siblings must have told them because unlike Yvette, I couldn't talk about it.
Mm.
And at work,
A lot of people
I
are like
broke,
that. Yeah.
I couldn't talk about it. And at work, I came in one day and I just broke down. And I
Mm.
told Liz because she was my partner, but then I heard that she had told someone.
Mm.
And they were like, I don't think Wanda wants anyone to know because I couldn't even articulate the fact that I had it. So
Mm-hmm.
I said, my family and friends, I lost my breath, but they breathed for me until I was able to catch my breath.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's good.
Mhm.
literally. My old church family, my new church family, I lost my breath and they breathed for me until I was able to catch my breath.
Wow.
Like that.
But
That's good.
it was devastating.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I know I didn't even know about your journey for a minute, Wanda.
Right. And that some
Yeah.
people was like, well, I didn't know.
I
Well,
did not know.
I
I
couldn't
did not.
share it because
Yeah.
it just, yeah,
Yeah.
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 Wow.
And me, it was just, again, it was just that because I knew I had lost family members. I knew they never talked about it.
Mm,
I was determined to change that
think
narrative,
that.
not just for myself, but for other Latino families that are like me, that are like my family.
But
Uh,
see, we had no history. I
yeah.
can't tell you
Right.
in my immediate and my cousins, we're all from Rochester and we're close. I can't really tell you anyone that I knew that really passed from it.
Mm-hmm.
In my
So
family was cancer in general, but no breast cancer whatsoever that I know of. But again, because my family
right,
kept
right,
things so, private, who knows? And I
right.
did not want that, especially with the diagnosis of the triple negative. You can't.
Okay,
You
okay.
can't.
Wow. Well, I actually
Mhm.
I told my life group to pray for me. And then after I got the diagnosis, um, I think I called each one of my siblings and
Mhm.
told them. And I had at the time, uh, wait a minute, three sisters and four brothers. And my mom was still alive. And my mom said, well, why you always eating healthy and so eating carrots and stuff like that, and it doesn't matter,
No.
it does not discriminate. But she
Mhm.
was like, why you the one? Because I do tend to try to eat cleaner, and she wanted to know why did I get breast cancer, because I'm the one that is the good
The
clean
healthy
eater.
one. Me too.
And so it doesn't matter, ladies. That just
No.
goes to show it doesn't matter how well you even taking care of your body. Breast cancer does not discriminate against
No.
anybody. Doesn't matter who you are. And so, but yeah, that's how I told my family. I'm pretty sure I ended up calling all of them, each one of my siblings. And when I say my family, just my siblings, because my husband knew, and my children, I told them, in person. But my siblings, my extended family, I just called them all on the phone. And then for my husband's family, it was after Christmas, and I think I waited for after Christmas to tell everybody also. But well, no, it was already after Christmas. You're right. But we had gone to this family house for what we call White Elephant, where we give away our stuff we don't want, and we do our Christmas usually after Christmas anyway. But I think I told them then, and we just all stood around and we held hands and prayed. But everybody was kind of shocked, that because who wants to hear the C word,
No.
um and somebody said recently, I heard somebody say, well, if you haven't gotten a call and somebody tell you have cancer, you really ain't had a bad day.
I like that. Woo, I love that.
You really haven't had a
that.
bad day if you haven't gotten that
That's
call
true.
saying, I'm sorry, Mrs. Reindock, to tell you it's cancer.
Ooh, ooh.
Think
horrible.
about that.
That's
It's
true.
horrible.
But you know what? I remember now too. We told my siblings what we did for my birthday. If you know me, you know I love my birthday. So
Yes.
what we did for my birthday, I included the children, and usually I don't have the children in our plans. But we all went bowling. The kids, and they just was, you could tell they felt for me, even the young kids. But
Wow.
that's when we told my siblings, and how they just
wow.
rallied around me, and everybody came out to bowling. Everybody.
Yeah.
And just so happened my brother from Atlanta was in town. So that's how I had to tell him as well.
Wow.
Yeah. It was tough. I remember the FaceTime, just seeing their reaction again. Like I said, my brother and his wife were in Florida, and my other brother in Puerto Rico, and some of my cousins and nieces and so forth. So it was, FaceTiming them and seeing their reaction. That was very tough for them, very tough for me. Because they have that one-on-one tough.
But my son, my middle son, if he did not encourage me, I think that was a turning point for me, because my sister, she's so strong. She's like, okay, we're going to tell him the day after Christmas. And I'm like, well, she's ringing my doorbell the day after Christmas. I'm like, really? So she called my one son over. My other son had came home for Christmas, and he ended up staying. I encouraged him to stay or to come for Christmas because I knew what I had.
Right.
So when we told my baby son, he was like, Wanda, who? Wanda, who? He was so angry. But when we told my oldest son, he said, Mom, I'm not worried about you. He said, if the Lord got anybody, I know he got you. He said, much as you love the Lord.
Yeah.
That right there was a turning point for me.
Wow.
Yeah, he had to encourage me because I was a wreck.
Yeah. It's hard.
Wow.
Yeah, and I call them, they're not heathens, but they know I used to call them. Lord, I don't call them that anymore. When they don't go to church, I would say the heathens. So I'm like, okay, now the Lord chose him to encourage me.
Yes.
Come on. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna just take a little break, and we're not taking a break, but I'm gonna put that thing back up and do a quick little break. I gotta plug something in. And then we'll be keep going on, because the next question is how many surgeries did you have? So let me just put this on real quick, because I think I know what I'm doing here with this show.
Yeah, we much better this year.
Gonna shine. It's enough. But when you're going down, falling to your knees. you time to believe. Rise up, rise up, rise up, rise up. No matter how it hurts, you're gonna let it bleed. No matter how you feel. Rise up, rise up, rise up.
All right, Rise Up. That's the name of that song. I found it somewhere when I was creating the thing, but it's called Rise Up.
Oh, I love it.
I tried to find Overcomer and Warrior. She's a warrior, but I like you have to watch copyright stuff, make sure you don't
That's
do.
true.
And so I wanted one of those, but I found that I'm like, this is appropriate.
Oh, it is. I love
You
it.
know, when I created a graphic, I'm like, this is appropriate. So I hope I don't get copyright. I think I'm gonna be okay. But the thing said, you know, we actually have already taken care of that. But anyway, so how many surgeries did you have? Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. I was blessed. I had one surgery.
Wow, that's it.
That's it. And I know that was God because they were able to go in. Like I said, I didn't do any research. But my God sisters, they were doing all this research, you know, but I was able to because I had a mastectomy. And I was blessed. They were able to remove the cancer and do the mastectomy all in one shot.
Wow.
And I guess that's not always how it goes.
Right. It's not, Wanda. Because you'll hear mine. That's not how it goes.
Right. So but the Lord know his daughter. That stuff, I mean, I had a fear of going under. Always, and no one know your inner struggles.
Right.
Okay, you got to deal with the big C.
Yeah.
But I also had to deal with my fear of never wanting to go to have anesthesia.
Right.
So
I think you talked to me about that.
Yeah, that was hard. That was very hard.
So God knew, like, this daughter right here.
He knew.
This daughter.
Come on.
We go.
He know every hair on our head. Okay, every strand. He knows. That's the word.
That's good, Wanda.
Yes.
He knew. Okay.
He knew.
Okay, man. How many for you?
With me is one, but getting to that one, it was just one surgery. I had a lumpectomy. But before I had that one surgery, I had gone to 4 different doctors for opinions because just like Wanda, you don't trust what you hear. Like, you don't know this doctor. So I even went to the Roswell Cancer Center to get a second opinion. I went to first my breast cancer surgeon here, my second opinion in Buffalo at the Roswell Cancer Center, my third opinion back to Rochester U of R doctor. And then a fourth doctor, I went to a plastic surgeon because I wasn't sure if I was going to get the mastectomy or the lumpectomy. And once I heard from all of them and they were all of the same thought, then I decided to go with the lumpectomy because they said that then I would have to follow that up with very strong chemotherapy, very strong radiation. And the radiation, the chemotherapy would be just as effective as having a mastectomy. So that's why I went. So it's a long-winded answer, but it's not just, I want to explain that, you know, the differences because nowadays they do a lot of what they call what's the word that they use? Oh my God, there's a terminology that they use to keep the breast versus trying to, you know, remove the breast if they're able to, if it's early enough.
Oh, wow.
So the thinking has changed somewhat on
That's
that.
good.
Based on what it was before, when you would immediately be advised you need a mastectomy.
Wow. So that's within what, Wanda? So you 7 years for you, 8 for me. So within that time span, because
some of the thinking has changed, and that's why
because it was like
it's important to get more than one opinion,
right?
Because I didn't just want to go with this one doctor I had never been to, and you know, he's telling me all these words that I don't even understand,
right?
So I think the Roswell Cancer Center, I think to me was the most detailed one. We asked questions, and that was the only one that my sister was able to come in with me, and you know, I would FaceTime my husband also, but my sister sat with me. That was the only appointment that I actually took someone with me. But I went through 4 different opinions, and once I saw that they were all talking the same language and, you know, telling me the same thing, because I was not going to go with, Mr. Doctor number one that I had never heard of before until I did all my research on him. Yeah, because I was just like that, like, I don't know you. You're not
But
just.
I want to say I
Yeah.
didn't have a choice. They first
Yeah.
told me it would
Right.
be a what is it?
Lumpectomy first, or
Right. But once,
lumpectomy is just removing the tumor.
right. But once I did my what is it? The MRI and
Right.
it must have been the MRI. Once I did that, where it was, they had to do the whole breast.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
So when I got diagnosed, they told me no.
Right.
But then when everything came back, they said they were going to have to take it. And I'm just going to say this quick. Even in that, God was so faithful to me. I was
Mhm.
sitting in the surgeon's office. That appointment, my sister was not there. And my surgeon was afraid to tell me that they had to take my breasts.
Mm-hmm.
But I was talking to the secretary, and I told the secretary what the Lord had told me. So by the
Mhm.
time I went in to see her, she just was so relieved
Yeah.
because they didn't know how they were going to tell me this.
Wow.
But
It's
the Lord
tough.
had already told me,
Yeah.
just take it. Just take. He
Yeah.
prepared
Wow.
me. He prepared me. Yeah.
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 Well, like you say, he knows his daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
well, y'all, I had 4 surgeries.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh, wow.
yeah, so because we the first surgery we went with the lumpectomy. And then after that surgery, and about 3 weeks later, the surgeon called me and said, Sylvia, we got to go back in there and take more tissue because your pathology reports show that the cancer cells came too close to the good cells, and we are concerned
Oh.
that it's going to
Mhm.
start to spread.
Yep.
So I'm like, well, because I'm a small woman, so I'm like, well, you don't have much to go back in there and take, you know. So I'm like, I really don't want to have another surgery. He's like, well, you need, we need to go ahead and you need to get another surgery. So he says, but in the meantime, I'm going to have you go see an oncologist to look at your case and see if you need to start chemo. And I wasn't ready for that either because I was thinking like the chemo was a little farther down the road. And so I went to that oncologist and he looked at everything. And that was like on a Monday, y'all. And he said, you need to start chemo like Friday.
Yeah.
And I just wasn't even prepared. I had
So
a
he
nurse
told you that before your surgery,
before the next surgery. The
but you had already
oncologist,
had one surgery.
I had already had one. And
Okay,
he
but the
said,
cells were too close. Okay.
yeah, because the cancer in it. And so I'm like, well, he's like, talk about you having the second surgery. And I was just like, wasn't ready for that. They had given me a nurse navigator to help you navigate through the
Oh,
whole journey, and so I was just like blown away when he told me that. And so I got in the car and I'm like, no, I'm not having chemo now. I'm just not ready. And I called her and I was sharing with her and she's like, Sylvia, you have to trust your doctors. That's what she told me. And I did get a piece from that, like her saying, you know what, Sylvia, you got to trust your doctors.
Mhm.
And so that Friday I started chemo and I had 6 rounds. But I started chemo that Friday. I think that's another question. Let's see here. But I started the chemo. But y'all, they said, well, we can put a port in your chest. That where you don't have to go and get it, get it fed in your arm.
right.
And so they said, because actually now I think about it, he had already scheduled the next surgery for January 24th. Because I had the first one like the very beginning of January. And so,
So they told you on December 27th, and you had your surgery right away.
yeah, that's for my people. They was just like, we got to get it out of your body. That's kind of
Right.
they
The
were
same thing with
moving
me.
fast.
Very
And so,
fast.
yeah, that was really really fast. And so ended up, he said, instead of, he said, and the oncologist called him and say, I recommend she start chemo. And so my surgeon said, well, why don't we take that January 24th and put that port in instead of you having the surgery? Because the oncologist said you should start chemo. And so I ended up going in for the port. And it was supposed to be like a 45-minute surgery. And it took 2 hours.
Yeah.
And I woke up while he was still, I never shared that with you.
No.
Oh
No.
my gosh.
No.
Oh my gosh.
So it was, based on your
Ouch.
size, what'd you say?
I said, ouch, because I did have a port also. I forgot to include that one.
Oh, okay.
I have my battle scar here, and I had the
Yeah.
port here. But yeah.
But I'll let you share
Wow.
because I'm into the part about it. But anyway, so it was supposed to take 45 minutes, and he couldn't find my vein. He said I was very veiny. And so I'm laying there and they got the thing over my face apparently. And I hear voices. I'm waking up. I hear voices. And the anesthesiologist says, he lifts up the paper. He goes, "You okay?" I go, "Yeah." Because I'm waking up like, where am I?
Right.
Because I should have already been out and been in recovery,
Right.
And so he's like, the doctor had a hard time finding your vein. They put the tube in. He said, so he had to call another surgeon. So I can hear them talking and I can feel them still working on me. And he says they got about 20 more minutes. Are you okay? I go, yeah.
Wow.
I know it's crazy. It's wonder like, and so when I came out of surgery, I'm like, I'm wide awake. And when you come out of surgery, you usually be like, you're still groggy from all the, but I was just like wide awake because it had worn off. But it took him 2 hours. And my husband's sitting out there waiting and he's getting concerned. And then they had called him and say, look, we're sorry, but it's taking a little longer. She's okay, but it's taking a little longer for them to put the tube in the vein where da 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 da. So that was surgery number 2. Surgery number 3 was to because I went for a double. After that, I went for a double. So I had a double mastectomy, and then that was number 3. And then surgery number 4 was putting the implants in. So I had 4 surgeries, and I only did chemo. I did 6 rounds of chemo for 4 months. They initially told me I was going to have radiation, but because of the double mastectomy, I didn't have to have radiation. Each surgery, they checked my lymph nodes. None of it never went into my lymph nodes. And the tumor was HER2 positive, which meant that I had to stay on a drug for a year. After the chemo, I had to do I forget the name of it, Harbacantin or something like that. But I had to do that for a whole year because the tumor was HER2 positive. So after the chemo, I still had to go like every couple weeks because it was like 1 week chemo, 1 week the non-chemo drug for the HER2 positive. And it went like that during the chemo every other week. And then after that, it was every 2 weeks for the other drug because the tumor was HER2 positive. So I did a treatment for a whole year. Of course, lost all my hair from the chemo treatment, lost all my hair. I just went bald. I just went around. I put my makeup on and just throw my makeup on and just, I wore a wig and scarves in the beginning when it was coming out. Cause I remember like 3 weeks later after chemo, I do like this and it was just coming out in my hands. And my sister had a fundraiser for me. And I was trying to wait for this fundraiser and she was taking too long. I'm losing my hair. And she was being slowful. So by the time they did the fundraiser, I had fuzz up there. And so I was just wearing a scarf and a wig that blew off one day because I didn't have a cap. It was just, and so after the fundraiser, I just my niece's husband at the time, he just shaved the fuzz off. And I just said, I ain't putting none on my head. And it was in the summer, and chemo takes your hair away. No matter where you got hair at, you don't have no hair when you have chemo. It's going everywhere.
Oh, yeah, everywhere.
Everywhere. You have no hair. I was okay with that. But, so that was my whole story of the surgeries and the chemo, and I'm grateful I didn't have to have radiation. So did anybody else want to add, share more about the
Yeah,
chemo and radiation or
yeah.
both?
I had 6 months of chemo, very, very strong chemo,
Oh, wow.
then followed by daily radiation for a
Wow.
whole another month. So it was brutal. Like you, I lost my hair, my stamina, my weight, everything. It was very difficult to eat. Between my husband and my sister, they took care of me. It was tough. It was really tough. Um, so I did not wear the wigs. I do have wigs. My sister ordered 2 wigs for me, and then I had these other wigs. But I just found that even the strength to try to get it to look good and all of that, that was just too much for me. So what I would do is I would definitely rock my makeup. And at that time, I would match my mask because the COVID matched my mask with my scarf. So I always felt that it was very important to also do that because otherwise, when I was at the chemo place, when I was there, we would all literally look like the kiss of San Jude. No one there had eyebrows, so you couldn't tell the difference between one or the other. No eyebrows, no eyelashes. The bald. Even your skin complexions changes.
Yes.
So I felt
Yes.
it very, very important. Though I learned for the first time ever, I put on the fake eyelashes. And sometimes I was more worried about the fake eyelashes than the chemo because it was like I gotta try to keep these lashes on. So I would be looking at the picture. So yeah, so I did that. It was extremely tough. It was very humbling. What chemo does to the body is brutal. My nails
Yeah.
were like almost black. My toenails are still affected. So many other things with your body. I'll just leave it
Yes.
like that. Your body does things that you're like I said, it's humbling what
Yes.
you go through. It's very humbling what you go through. And stuff you only at times just discuss with your doctor because it's that humbling. But here I am.
Yeah.
But that
Thank
was
God you're still here.
yeah, radiation was tough. I had heard many negative things about
Yeah.
it, and it was tough. I the doctor that I had that gave the prescription for the radiation, she came from Roswell, and they had
Mm.
some new techniques with the breathing, and because my cancer is on my left side, the side of the heart, so extra worries about that. So now, of course, I have a cardiologist and all that other stuff.
Yes.
So I'm talking to the cardiologist, and things are good in that end. Thank
That's
goodness.
Praise God.
good.
Yeah.
That's
Praise God.
good.
Well, I did chemo. I had 12 rounds.
Wow.
So that was 4, 8, 3 months.
Mhm.
Wow.
And then I did for a year of medicine every 3 weeks that I had to still go to the Pluta. And
Mm-hmm.
then I was on a pill.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be for 5 years, but I stopped it because one of the side effects was your bones.
Mhm.
Mm.
And when I start feeling it in my bones, I said, "Okay, Lord, this is enough. I trust you."
Wow.
And what I did even before that, I wasn't taking it every day. I
Mm-hmm.
started taking it Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. And because of that, I do have, what is it? Not the Osti, the one under.
Osteopenia.
Yeah, I do have that. But my son is a yoga guru, and he said everybody has that.
Oh, wow.
That's what he said. But they when they told me, they didn't tell me to do anything because I do walk and I do take my vitamin D. So my vitamin
Mhm.
D, I want to plug that in too, especially women of color. You
Yes.
need your vitamin D. I was
Yes.
part of a study, and I think what they were trying to say, your risk of getting breast cancer is higher when you lack vitamin D.
Exactly. I'm glad you touched upon that,
Yeah.
Wanda.
So please,
My
please,
my
and the
breast cancer
gummies.
surgeon told me the same thing.
Yep, the gummies. I forget the Vita brand, but they're at Walmart, the big one, and they taste so yummy.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
even
Thank
though I'm
you.
here in sunshine in the sunshine state, I still take my vitamin D.
Every woman should know what their vitamin D number is.
Yes.
Okay.
Every woman. We go to our doctor every year, we go to the GYN, whatever. They do give us those numbers, but we don't pay attention. Because okay,
Wow.
you're okay or you're a little low. Every woman I'm so glad you touched upon that one.
Thank you.
That is one message that I've also conveyed to all of the female members of my family. You
Yes.
must know, first of all, what your vitamin D number is. Talk to your doctor, start taking supplements, and if you can, get out there in the sunshine, even if it's 10 minutes. But talk to your
Because
doctor.
I think, what's the number is normal? 30?
Okay, normal is between, well, from according to my doctor, and some doctors may differ on this. So, I'm obviously not a medical, but normal is between 30 and 80.
Yeah.
When I started off, I was within the normal. I was like 31, but my doctor told me with your risk factors, that's too low for you. Go higher. So right now, my number is 54.
I'm
And
55.
Wow.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you see,
Yep.
because we listen, we paid attention. Yeah, every woman should know. Every young girl that starts getting these tests should know what their vitamin D number. You would be surprised within my family once I started relaying that message. I have a niece that told me, well, mine is like 20 something, mine is 17. And it's like, no, we've got to bring that up. My own sister, one of my sisters. So thank you, Wanda.
And the lack of it too can be depression. Because the lack of vitamin D, because I remember when I started taking it, my doctor, Dr. Brenda, who's also a Christian and my friend, I said, I'm feeling blue during the winter. And she said, are you taking any vitamin D? I said, no. So you definitely need it being in Rochester. I mean, we all need it, but it helps with your mood.
Okay, that's good to know. I didn't know that one, but yeah, it's so important.
Because that's why the sunshine, they say if you're in the sunshine, you don't need it. And think about it. People in the sun, they say are happier.
Yeah. Wow.
You definitely need to know your number.
I thank you both for saying that, because Wanda, honestly, I've gone to my oncologist like once a year, and he has told me to take vitamin D, and I still don't take it.
Hold on.
Look at you.
Hold on. I'm gonna go get what I take.
Okay, all right. And Yvette, you're looking at me like, oh
no.
So,
but no, it doesn't bother you or anything.
But I love what you said too. I didn't know about knowing your number, like knowing your vitamin D number, which you mean that's the level that you
the vitamin D you have from, like I said, 30 to 80 is what, my doctor says is normal. But if you're on the lower end, especially with us women of color, and the fact that we've had breast cancer already, it should be a little bit higher than that. Wanda and I are right there. We got out.
This what
that's
you
the
got
one that Wanda takes.
Okay.
And when I tell you it's so
let me
good,
see it, Wanda, that's D2.
But you got to get this one, because I had a different one that didn't taste as good.
Well, what is that one though? I can't see it that way. Oh,
Vita Fusion.
Fusion?
Yep.
You order it?
You can see it. Now you can see it. Can you see
get
it
it
now?
at the drugstore.
That's at the store?
Yeah, I get it at Walmart, and I get the big one because you take 2 a day.
Okay, how much they cost?
Like $12.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not bad. I get mine at Walgreens.
I'm going to Cash App you $15. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
And you go get it.
I don't take that one. I take another one that's tasteless, but I usually go to Walgreens because you buy one, get one half off.
Okay.
So I do the same thing. I buy the big one, buy one, get my half off. I'm good for a few months. And talk to your doctor about your numbers. Look at your number. If you're on My Care or My Chart.
Okay.
Hopefully go to your test. It's probably there somewhere.
Okay. So I have an account with Rochester Regional, like my
Care. Yeah, My Care. That's My Care.
Okay. So you're saying go in there. My vitamin D numbers should be in there that says how it's saying
what
how
your
high.
Number is. No, it tells you what your number is.
What it is.
I'll tell you what your number is. And then it'll right there also, it should tell you if you're within the normal range. I mean, if you're within the normal range, you're great. But if you are even on the lower spectrum of it, that's why it's important to talk to your doctor about.
But most people, I'm going to tell you, most people in Rochester
are lower end.
Vitamin D.
Yeah, they're on the lower end.
Yes. I just sent it to you.
All right. Well, I appreciate that because
Wanda don't play.
I am being hard-headed by not, because he's been
right. But this way you'll do it, because this way I know you'll do it.
I've been even telling me for several years, Sylvia, you know, get some vitamin D. Okay, because I kind of got away from. I used to take a lot of vitamins, then I got away from it, and I just have never really gotten back into it. But he's been telling me you need to take some vitamin D. It
Especially
helps
as we
a
get
lot of stuff.
older, our bones, especially as we
Yeah,
get
no.
older.
If your doctor is telling you that, that means your doctor has noticed that it's on the lower end.
Okay.
You know, I wish your doctor would have been a little bit more, you know, assertive and told you
Exactly.
much more about that. But definitely, if your doctor is saying it, the doctor's already noticed it's low.
Mhm.
Okay.
So I
Okay.
bet you're on the
Especially.
lower end. Tell us what your number is. Once you find out, I'm very curious.
Yes, me
Yes,
too.
Okay.
I want you to text me and tell me what your number
Me
is.
too.
All
You
right.
know
I
mine
have
already.
to
You
go to
know
my
mine.
care. Let me make a note for my care because I know I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure that
it's
my
there somewhere.
yeah, it's somewhere in there. So well, thank y'all because I definitely need to get on that. And especially we about to go into winter. We already
Yes,
have gloomy days in Rochester
yes, yes,
already. So
yes.
yeah, so I'm grateful. So we're gonna kind of wrap it up. But is
But
there
then make sure you go
anything
and
else?
put this on live, because even though nobody may have joined us, who's supposed to see it will see it. And
Right.
what you can do is just put it out there for the month of
Yes.
October. Just share it.
Okay, I'll
Just
keep
share it.
sharing it.
Yep,
I'll
just
keep
keep
sharing.
sharing.
That's
Yep.
a good idea. That's a good
Mm-hmm.
idea because yeah, people will still watch it
Mm-hmm.
even after we end the live.
Because they are
Right.
working. I didn't even think about that. Most people are working.
But honestly, today is
Oh yeah,
Columbus.
that's true. Columbus Day. That's
So
true.
some people are off, which
Indigenous
That's
Day.
true.
it's okay. You don't know why and when people join. But last
Yeah.
year, remember Wanda and I did it, Yvette, and Clyde Forbes, sadly, who passed away, he joined us and
I know.
he was
Yeah.
going through it at the time.
I
And I
know.
didn't Wanda knew, but I really didn't know. But I
Yeah.
was like wondering why he joined our Zoom. But then as I looked at him, I knew something wasn't right.
Yeah.
But he said, and at the end he said, I'm still on the battleground or something like that. He was
Something
still
like that.
fighting,
Yeah.
but sadly he lost the battle to it. I think was it earlier
Oh,
this year? Was
um,
it last
it
year?
was
December
last
last
year.
year.
Last year.
December.
Okay,
December
okay.
last.
Last year.
But he joined, and I was like grateful that he did join us, because he was going through cancer. It doesn't matter, many times whether it's um breast or whatever. My
Yeah.
mom died of brain cancer. My cousins, they both died. Died of, I know, with lung cancer. I think they both did, or one maybe stomach cancer. So, my grandmother died. So it's happened in my family, but the breast
Okay.
cancer has never
No.
been something that has happened to the women. And my daughter, she's 40. Well, she just got her mammogram last year and she's
Okay.
over 40. And
Okay.
so again, this Friday is the mobile mammogram unit. Will be here at our office, Rhine Doc Realty, Ontario, New York. You can call. I'm sorry, I don't have the information up there, but Rochester Regional, the pink, I think, is the name or the website. Forgive me, y'all. I could have been more prepared, but I'll post it.
That's
And I have already been posting it. But there is a story that of a lady who came to Big Lots, where my office is, saw the mobile mammogram unit, walked over and asked if she could be a walk-in. They said yes. And then she came back to my office a couple months later, and she probably was in her 60s, 70s. And she said, she brought a flower. She said, I just want you to know that I ended up being diagnosed with breast cancer from that mammogram. And it gave me chills and just,
Look at God.
oh my gosh. And she said, I've already had my surgery. She said, I don't know yet if I got to have any treatment, but I just want to thank you for having the mobile. Yeah, I'm getting chills now. And so I just thank God that we can do that. And this is something so in my heart to bring awareness. If only if I just do the mobile mammogram 3 times a year and do this, once a year. But it's such a thing in my heart that I don't want any other woman to have to go through this. And this will lead into the next part, and then and you both can share too, but I'm going to lead out with how to get involved. And
Great question.
how can we get involved? And so I'll just lead out with what I've gotten involved with. And I know Yvette, you're involved with It used to be Gilda's Club, but
Yeah,
it's
Cancer Support Community
Cancer,
Rochester now.
Cancer Support Community. But a couple things for me, like when I was going through Breast Cancer Coalition of Rochester was there, but I never had a desire or urge to get involved. And then after I went through breast cancer, I had this desire to get involved, and I joined the advocacy committee, and I ended up um, also being a PAL. I forget what the acronym means, but you get trained for
Ooh.
women who get newly diagnosed, and so they hook you up with them. I've had two, and basically, you can meet with them and just talk with them. The two I've had, they just have wanted to do it over the phone. But Breast Cancer Coalition of Rochester is a great organization. They do so much. I actually got really involved with them for a couple years. I actually ended up on the wall, the Warrior Wall, I think they call it. If you're volunteering, you get a I got asked one day, I was thinking like, how do you get on the wall as I'm sitting there in one of the sessions? And next thing I know, I got a call that they want to put me on the wall. I'm like, wow, God, well, thank you. But it's a great organization. Holly Anderson, beautiful, beautiful, sweet lady. She actually, when Devin passed away last year, in their publication, she actually put his name in there as people remembered, just because she knew me and that was my son. And she just like, that was so sweet of her. And but American Cancer Society, Wanda and I have walked in that walk for years. I don't even know when it is this month, but Wanda would usually come back and walk in the walk every year. But I saw that you did one in your area, so yay, Wanda. Is yeah, but and then there is cancer what Yvette is going to share. They're also there, and I started my own cancer support group back in 2000, and I want to say 17 in Wayne County, because I said, why do I have to always drive to Monroe? I want something out here. And I started it, and then COVID hit. So we haven't met in 2 years. And ours was for any cancer. We had a couple males coming. We had a couple women coming. And then one time I had a speaker who sadly she passed away last year. But I started a group in 2017, and COVID kind of shut it down. I was doing it at our library. Then I moved it to my office because we have a conference room. But I recently have been thinking I need to get it started again. And then I get an email from our library saying that there's some ladies that want to know, about your cancer support group. There's nothing in, our area. And so the lady reached out to me. So I'm looking to get that started back up. And again, like I said, mine is for any cancer. So that is my involvement. And I've gone to Albany for advocacy of funds for BCCR, Breast Cancer Coalition of Rochester. And when I was looking at the American Cancer Society, I was on their site early, and it said they have a similar program to PALS where it says Reach to Recovery, where they connect you with another woman where you can help her through the journey. And so that's my involvement. And Yvette, I know that you're involved, and you can say it again.
Okay. Well, I'm involved with, thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk about this too. I am very familiar with the Breast Cancer Coalition also. I turned to them right away when I was diagnosed too. I've joined some of their Zoom presentations, and I've gone there to actually look at scarves and things like that. Wonderful people there. I am very involved right now with the Cancer Support Community Rochester is what they're called, formerly Gilda's Club.
Okay.
And what's very exciting about it is that we have formed a much needed Spanish group now also. And we're called Latinos Unidos contra Cáncer, which just means United Hispanics Against Cancer.
Okay.
And Cancer Support Community provides amazing support, education, and social programs, because no one should go through cancer by themselves. I had a wonderful support group with family and friends, but to talk to someone that has actually gone through the journey, understands what I'm going through still, because my secondary symptoms haven't left me. I'm still dealing with a lot of them because I'm still so pretty new with this. And in our group, Latinos Unidas contra Cancer, we not only support each other, we're very passionate about educating about the importance of diagnostic testing. And it's not just with breast cancer, as you stated, is, get your colonoscopy. For men, get their prostate check.
Yes.
Get skin checks. There's certain diagnostic testings that are so important, and they will save lives. So I have been involved in various fairs. We were just at the charter school last week. My sister and I, that was my caregiver. We were at the charter school giving information. We have bilingual. We created a flyer that is bilingual.
Oh, wow.
That very simply states, these are the first steps. Very simple language. And I could send the two of you a copy.
Okay.
That just says, these are the tests that you need. And it's almost like a little check mark with graphics, extremely simple, not a whole lot of wording or anything, but it says the first step is to go see your doctor. Jim Love is now the executive director of Cancer Support Services. He's wonderful. I work very much with Donald Armstrong. He is involved in community engagement, wonderful people there. And again, they have all different types of wonderful programs from children to adults. So they even have like children that get affected by cancer. That's, obviously. So they have wonderful programs there. So yeah, very involved in directing a lot of my passion and my energies with cancer support community right now.
All right.
Okay.
Well, wow. And again, thank you, Yvette, and definitely send us those flyers. And I think it's great to reach back and be involved and try to get women to get that mammogram and think about, because I'm pretty sure it's a lot of 40-year-olds, African-American women or women in general running around have never gotten their mammogram. And my brother had a girlfriend whose sister, the mom died of breast cancer, and then the sister got cancer, and she never. They're Latino, they're Hispanic. I'm sorry, and so
both terminologies are fine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And so sadly, she ignored it, y'all.
Yes.
She ignored it. So the tumor came on the outside, and one of my girlfriends, her sister was working with this person for years, and they said they noticed an odor. And but they didn't know what was going on with her. She just ignored it. And then one day she collapsed at work. Oh, wow. And she had surgery, but she never recovered. For the next 2 years, she was she had the surgery, she was okay, she was in a nursing home, but she never recovered. And my brother's girlfriend at the time, she was so upset at her. She said, because mom died of that. So why would you, ignore it? But you don't know what's going through people's mind. And I remember going to visit her in the nursing home. She's like, I'm gonna be okay. But sadly, she just ended up just never getting recovered, because it was too much in her system, so we say to women, please don't ignore it. If you know something is different, have it checked out. The first time I noticed something and I went and got it checked out, but the second time it kind of sneaked up on me. It was just like, whoa. But pay attention to, what's happening up there. Males too, examine yourself, and like, is anything unusual? And I always say our breasts are lumpy anyway, but this is what I say to women. When it's a lump, you will know it's a lump. Because I can remember examining myself prior to, and it was lumpy, but you're like, oh, is it? But I'm telling you this, when that lump was there, it was a lump. And you will know that it's a lump when it's a lump. So
know your body and talk to your doctor. And what we say is take that first step and go see your doctor. I mean, you should have a relationship with a doctor. Take that first step and do that. If nothing else, I have met women. We just met a woman at a fair not too long ago, and she had not seen a doctor. I think it was like in 10 years or so.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. So we immediately got her connected and got the resources that she needed in order to go see that doctor.
Yeah. And Yvette, the lady that did the walk-in at the mobile mammogram, it had been about 10 years.
You see?
Wow.
Yeah. And so thank God that they were here that day, and she was supposed to be at Big Lots, and she ended up going over there and getting that mammogram. Thank God. And one thing that's sad about the whole mammogram thing is it's very uncomfortable for ladies. Yeah. And some ladies won't, like my daughter for the first time last year, and she was like, ooh, she was like whining to me. But it is very uncomfortable. But we got to see the value of going through that uncomfortable situation to save your breast or your life. you know, because
Yes.
women are still dying of breast cancer.
Yeah,
Yes.
You know, I
it's
say to
15
people,
minutes, 15 minutes and it's over.
yeah, and I
And I
said,
think
Last
for
that much
me,
longer. Yeah.
we've come a
I'm
long
not
way, but
directly involved. I think my mantle is I um mentor people, not mentor, but help them, like
Mhm,
Yvette.
mhm.
I think the year Yvette had it, it was 3 people I was praying with. It was three
wow,
three women at one time. And
wow,
so what I do is everywhere October, I just share it. Like I tried to get my church, it's a new church. They said we're going to do it next year. I don't agree with that, but I have to be obedient. So what
okay,
I do on the prayer calls, Monday through Friday, I type, have you had your mammogram?
Uh-huh.
Early detection saves lives. When I
wow,
work at TJ Maxx, I get on the mic every Tuesday and Thursday. I said, good
Ooh,
morning.
nice.
It's October, Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Make sure you and your loved ones have your mammogram. Early detection saves lives. I'm a 7-year thriver, more than a survivor. So
wow,
that's because I believe the Lord, He entrusted us
hmm,
to, He counted us faithful, really, that He knew that we would do what we're doing. So I probably, someone told me about an organization here, but for me, it's just that all the women I'm around, like I said, church, I don't care where. For the month of October, I'm getting on the horn that is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And I always post something in the month of October.
yes.
And I also too post about where you can go to get
Mhm.
mammograms.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So
Well,
Awesome.
thank you, Wanda. I know you're very passionate. You have always been very passionate about it once you survived it, you know, or
yeah.
thrived through it. And so I love that about you. And like I say, you was getting the pink hair.
Yeah, I
But
gotta
yeah,
go back, but you said that. You guys said that, so I gotta find somebody because that was like I wear pink though. So I was at church and this lady's like, "Oh, that's so beautiful what you have on." I said, "Well, it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Have you had your
Yeah.
mammogram?" And she had not.
You see?
wow.
She
You
had not.
see? That's
She
how
had
you deliver the message. Yeah.
Yeah, and then on my Facebook page, I had my girlfriend's sister. She did not. So I'm gonna gently go back. And so what I said, all my people who are connected to me, I want you to have had your mammogram or made the appointment by October. So the
Okay.
ones who let me know that I'm gonna continue to post that. But
Yes.
one person told me she didn't. So I need to stay on her
Yes.
until that appointment is made.
Amen.
Yes. And I have nieces that are over, like my daughter's over 40. I have nieces. I think they're pretty good about it, but maybe not all of them.
No, Sylvia, you probably how I started out. I worked with Ophelia. Ophelia is 10 years older than me.
Yeah, that's right.
So I knew 10 years ahead of time that this is what you do. So when it came time for me, she just back then they would let you make the appointment for someone else if you gave them the information. So
Okay.
we went, now we do that too as a group. But I went with Ophelia because she was already having them 10 years prior to me. So
Mhm.
I don't know if I would have been that adamant.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah. Sometimes you just
Wow.
have to, that gentle pushing. You just
Yeah.
Yeah.
have to do it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I have told my family? What I have told many of them, I have on their contact, when they have my information, my phone number, my address, everything, right there on the notes. Also, when you talk to your doctor, let them know that I have the triple negative. So I've told them the type of
Mm-hmm.
diagnosis that I have,
Mm-hmm.
because you need to have, they need to understand that the very aggressive nature of mine. So I told them, next time you go to your doctor, you make sure your doctor knows that I, a family member of yours, has been diagnosed with the triple negative.
Oh, wow.
So that's what they've done. They've put it in their contact information.
Wow. I
And
Saying,
it's
like that.
important because my
Mhm.
girlfriend, when we went to get our mammograms, they asked her, and she had to say her sister had just been diagnosed.
Yeah, but it's important
Wow.
to
So
know
they
with
do
what,
want to know exactly.
because again, not every cancer, not every, I always thought it was stage 1, 2, 3, 4. That was it. I didn't know they had names.
Yeah, they
I
do.
didn't know that, breast cancer had, to
Mm-hmm.
this day, there are women that I have asked, they've told me they've had breast cancer. And I go, okay, what type do you have? They don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
They don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Or, oh, my cousin had breast cancer, what type? They
Yeah.
don't know. So it's
Girl,
important to
I
know what
don't know.
type. You
I
don't know.
don't know. No,
Okay, you need to look
I
at my
didn't
chart
want to
also,
know.
or my care. Oh
I didn't.
gosh.
I didn't. I
Yeah.
don't need to know that.
No, but it's important because of the family needs to know that. I think it's
Well, yeah,
you know,
but that's true. But they getting their mammogram. My daughter, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well, my
yeah.
sister knows. My sister.
Oh, well, at least your sister knows. That's
Yeah,
good.
Well,
One thing I don't do either, though, I don't Google because of all the
Oh.
negative stuff with the triple negative. You see,
Yes.
my type of breast cancer also, I cannot take the medication that you ladies have been on.
I've
doesn't
never been
respond
on medication.
yeah. Oh, that Wanda has been on then.
Yes.
Wanda.
Mhm.
This one doesn't respond to any medication, so I cannot take anything for it. So, it's not all created the same. They're all so different. And it's important to know that they're
Yes.
just different.
It's
It's not
true.
just stage 1, 2, 3, and 4.
And you know what? I have to, and when women, every woman's journey is different. Now we have similarities. We definitely have similarities. And
Yes.
so I'll say to women, never look at the way I went through it, or,
Nope.
everybody is so different. Again, we all have similarities, but everybody is so different in their journey. So it's not a one size
Nope.
fit all, even, their treatment or their plan.
Absolutely.
I haven't ran across one woman that everything was exactly the way mine was. It's all different the way we go through. And just a little funny. It ain't funny, but Yvette, I lost my big toenail when I went through chemo. And so my sister, I was over at her house and I had brought my bedroom slippers and my sock somehow ended up in my sock, and I left the sock there, and she found a big toenail.
Oh, wow.
I'm telling you, the stuff that you go through,
I
right?
know. I
The
know.
stuff you go through.
She's like,
And
girl.
I'm a pedicure, high heel type of a person.
Right.
For me, I haven't had a pedicure. I couldn't get one in 2021. I could not get one this year, but I am determined to get one next year. By next year, everything will be good, and I will get my pedicure. I'm claiming that now. Wanda, pray for my pedicure because I know you.
Girl, I already declare and decree.
I know you. I know you. I know Wanda.
Yes.
I know Wanda. Wanda will pay for my.
That.
I am going to get my pedicure next year.
Will
I am.
have your
I am a
pedicure.
sandal. I've always been. Pedicures are big in my life, and right now I still can't do it. But next year, you watch. I will, and I will text you guys when I'm doing it. I'll probably
what I do when I'm talking to women, when I'm helping them go through that, I never say what I did. I wait for them to ask me, did you do that? I don't say, well, I didn't do that. Well, I didn't do that. Never, because some things you don't even want to know. They don't even need to know.
Right.
So I wait for them to say, did you?
Okay.
And then I share. Because if you're scared and you start to compare.
Yes.
So I never say what I wait for them to ask. Did you have radiation? How many surgeries? Did you have mastectomy? I wait.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, I overshare. I say it depends. The people everybody's very different, and
no, but it's okay.
I'm not to scare them though. I try not to
I'm
scare
not
them.
saying about to the people who haven't. I'm saying to the people who are going through it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I wait for them to ask me the question before I share, because it may be too much. Like I had one friend who I love dearly. And she told me when they wanted to do the MRI with the other breast or something. I'm like, well, why are they doing that? And she said they want to see if you have cancer in that breast. I didn't need to hear that. Then she told me.
I see what you said. The scary stuff you don't. Yeah, no, the scary stuff I don't either.
Right.
That I do. Not the scary stuff.
She told me a friend that died, passed away. She had radiation and she burned. I don't need to hear that.
Yeah. No, the scary stuff you don't. Yeah, the scary stuff I don't either.
So
no.
that's what I'm saying. When
yeah. No, I totally agree.
Been through. I wait for them to ask me the questions before I share.
Oh, yeah. Some of it is pretty yucky, and like you said, I don't. I also wait to hear, and then we can compare.
Right.
And all of that.
Right.
Yeah.
And when you go through, like if you become a PAL, or American Cancer Society now has reached to recovery. You don't, I found out in going through the training, with the women that are newly diagnosed and, they may have already had their surgery, may not, got to go through treatment. You just kind of, you're trained just to give them nothing but encouraging words, or just listen to them share their fears, or things that it's just let them share, because your emotions are all over the place. You get the C word, you just get all this terminology, then you got to get surgery, get treatment, and just it's just like it's a whole nother. It takes a chunk of your life and put you on this journey that you've never thought that you even be going through. So but yeah, you just thank God for surviving it, thriving through it, and overcoming it. And what was I going to say? I was going to say something about something I can't remember. But your body, it does wreak havoc on your body because our bodies weren't created to receive a chemical. But I know that their goal is to get the cancer out of your body, to eradicate it, get it out. Unfortunately, it leaves a lot of side effects. Like Yvonne, it took my nails, it's just maybe last year they started acting normal, but they just split and peel and split and peel. And some things I'll never be like, I get muscle spasms. I was getting them in my torso, like awful. And now I get them in my calves and in my thighs. And it's almost like they be angry. And so it's just things your body, deals with after you go through chemo, because it's a chemical that has been put in your body to kill the cancer. Yet, it wreaks havoc on our body. But I'm grateful to the knowledge of man, that God gave man the knowledge to try to help us, survive this thing, because sadly women are still dying. Yet I remember my surgeon saying, or oncologist saying, that what, but today we have so many more survivors than we used to have. I mean, women used to get breast cancer and they would die because they didn't have the awareness and the knowledge, and even the fight against it that they have now. And I remember when I was going through it, I remember God gave me the word fierce. And I was journaling a lot and talking to God about it a lot. And you're right, it like the chemo it kicked my butt at times, but I was like, I'm gonna get back up and just keep going. But he gave me that word fierce, and somebody sent me a bracelet. And it said fierceless, and they didn't even know that I had gotten that word from God. And they sent me a bracelet. I remember taking a picture of it.
Confirmation.
And so it's just like, wow, God is right there with us. And we're, even though, stuff like this happens, he's always there with us. So like wanted to doing something else, but we about to wrap it up.
I wanted to say one more thing.
I had a roast. I put my roast on.
Oh my God.
Oh, I wish I was there.
This is life. Yep.
And I never turned it.
I want to say one more thing before we end also, and it's for the women that are hearing this today, or men that are hearing this, to also know that sometimes this journey also affects our mental health, and to take care of that too. We do have our support groups. We have, we're busy in our lives, but I have found out, I am up there in age. I'm not going to say my age, but I'm up there, and I have never gone to a mental health therapist in my life. But not too long ago, about 2 or 3 months ago, I went to my oncologist, and I was just bawling. And I knew I had so much support. I had Wanda, I had my friends, I had, my family. And yet I still felt this sadness. And I was just very confused and anxious. So they have a wonderful program through, where I go through the Lipson, Cancer Center, where they look at the whole person, a collaborative effort. So now I see someone for, some of the other stuff, the anxiety, the depression, and those things. And, in conjunction, of course, I believe in prayer, and I believe in, I can call my sister. That's usually my best therapy there. But I still also do that too, because I want to mix it all, because I just got to become whole. So the mental health aspect, sometimes we don't talk about that piece of it also, but it is very much part of the journey too. So there's no fear. There should be no shame in asking for help.
I agree.
Also for mental health.
Point.
I agree, because, and as I said earlier, I had a nurse navigator at the time. They were assigning nurse navigators to you, and this nurse navigator had actually went through breast cancer too. So pretty much like the pals through Breast Cancer Coalition of Rochester, or now the American Cancer Society has reached to recovery, where they'll train you and then assign you to somebody. So I agree. It's great to have somebody to talk to, and as you walk through something you've never ever gone through before or never expected to. And so I think it's great to have that support, the cancer, cancer
Support Community Rochester.
support community.
Formerly Gilda's Club. Yeah.
Formerly Gilda's Club, me starting my own group, and just, and these women reaching out to me saying, hey, we want something in our area. And so it is good just to continue, having that support, or that like mind, or like, things that you both have gone through. So before we go, I'm going to ask each one of us to just give one word of encouragement. Like I have here one word, but one word that would encourage, and there may be more than one word, maybe two or three, but that would encourage someone. Just one word from each one of you.
Mine would be faith.
Faith.
I'm going to say 3 words. You deserve it. You deserve to take care of yourself.
You deserve it. Okay. Faith, you deserve it. And what is my word? Care. That's my word. Care. Care. And I'll add community. But care. And so ladies, this has been great.
Yeah.
Wanda, I just want you to know Kate Stone did give us a heart. So I think what happens is people scroll through, but some people do give us a reaction. She gave us a heart. So she saw some of it. We hope and pray that people will go back and watch this. And so some takeaways: you need your vitamin D, especially ladies of color. You need your vitamin D. We all need vitamin D, but especially ladies of color. And vitamin D is going to help with our mood. It's even maybe help with somehow preventing breast cancer, I think, the vitamin D. So, and
in
get
your
your mammogram. Huh?
Talk to your doctor. Yeah,
yes,
talk to your doctor
about your vitamin D levels, and because we all have a certain level. But you go in your medical account and see what your levels are. But talk to your doctor, as Yvette has encouraged us. And again, it's been Wanda Gardner and Yvette Torres. We have known each other for many years, worked for the same company for many years. Sadly, we've all gone through breast cancer, but we are still here.
But
it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We're saying to get your mammogram, check your body out for anything that might be unusual, and talk to your doctor, but get your mammogram. As Wanda said, what say it prevents? What'd you say, Wanda? What was your
the mammogram?
Early detection.
Early detection.
Yeah, early detection.
Early detection.
It's so important. Saves lives.
Yes.
You an 8, Yvette a 1.
Yes.
1.5. 1.5.
Oh, all right now.
I got the half now.
Yes, 1.5.
But we are survivors, thrivers, and overcomers. We shared our story today. Just tell you about the journey that we've been on with this whole breast cancer thing. We consider, I call us pink sisters. But I'm wearing my pink jacket every day. I had pulled out some polka dots the other day. I'm like, I can't wear polka dots with this. It was black and white. I'm like, I can't wear it. And so, but wearing the pink lipstick, my jacket. I know, Wanda, you do pink every day.
I have this. I have a pink book bag or purse that Louise bought me that I bring out only every day. I have on pink.
Okay, and Yvette,
I got my pink sweater on.
Got your pink on, but Yvette, I want us to be like Wanda. People get her pink gifts all month.
I do.
No,
I know.
I got a blanket this year. I got every year I get gifts. Every year, don't I, Sylvia? Every year.
Yeah, she does. And my family just won't get it. They won't get it. I'm like, y'all.
But you know how it started out. I told my family and friends I needed pink because I wanted to wear pink. So they start buying me pink. Okay. But my brothers, they just love me. And they were like, I'm like their mom because my mom's been gone so long. So they started buying me stuff, and they were fighting. And my other brother was like, "Well, man, can I bless her? Can I buy her something?" They haven't
Oh,
bought
that
me
is so
anything in a
nice.
couple of years, but it's okay. If I say I want some, I'm kind of running out of stuff.
Oh my gosh, that
I
is
have
so
pink rain boots.
Okay, I have some of those. I have some of
I
those.
don't know if you could see this, but this is the purse that my niece is wearing. Let me see if you can see it.
Oh, I can see it.
I
Yeah,
can
that's
see
nice.
it.
Look how she's rocking this purse.
Oh,
She
wow.
decorated it with the scarf and it's pink.
I
Awesome.
So
love it.
she sends me this photo this morning
I
that
love
she was
it.
using the purse the whole month. I
And
love
see,
it.
we need to make sure
Yeah,
our
I
even
absolutely love it. Yeah,
daughters who
absolutely love
young,
it. Yeah, very cute.
yes, that our family members are doing that.
Yeah, it is. It's very humbling. I mean,
Yeah.
this journey, you get humbled a lot, but in a good way also. I mean, there's
Yeah.
the other kind of humbling,
Right.
but there's also the good humbling because you are so touched by the love
Mhm.
that you receive, and I have
Yes.
certainly
Yes.
been a recipient of
Yes.
that.
Yes. Yes.
My family, my friends, my circles, amazing. You know, I
Mhm.
just and you know the people that I have met now also in my cancer support group, Latinos Unidos contra Cancer, you know, our little subgroup. Just a lots of love. Yeah. So for some reason we were picked, and we're doing the best that we can with this, and we're
Yes.
going to help others. And
Yes.
you know, something like this has already done it. Even if we impact one life, is what I've
It's
always
worth
said.
it.
Yes.
We've done our
Yes.
job, and I know we've impacted more than one already. So
Yes.
it's very
Yes.
much worth it.
One
So,
life. I like that. Even if we
yeah,
impact one life,
One life.
one
that's
woman
it.
that would go get
Yeah,
her mammogram,
yeah.
Yes.
and if she get diagnosis, then she'll
We've done our
know
job.
sooner.
Yeah, we've done our job.
Yeah, and so I just want to leave with this Friday from 9 to 4. We're going to have the mobile mammogram unit here in Ontario, New York, Wayne County, off Route 104 at our office, Rhine Dock Realty. If you need to get a mammogram, please contact Rochester Regional. I believe it's pink something. I'm sorry again, I don't have all the information, but you can find it. And they will be here to do mammograms. You can sign up ahead of time. They do take walk-ins, but please come and get that mammogram. And I am so grateful for these ladies. You know, we connected earlier this year. Me and Wanda been doing this for a couple years or more, and Yvette is here with us. We just want to encourage you to get that mammogram and be aware of what's going on in your body.
Yes.
So that is it. Thank you, ladies, for joining us.
You're welcome.
And
You're
we'll
very
look forward to it again next year. And hey, maybe we'll have, not that I want to have more women, but some of those have already gone through it. Maybe we'll be able to get some more women to join us and be an encouragement to others. So until next time, live well, take care, and God bless. Have a good day, y'all.
You as well. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
On a shot, it's enough, it's enough, it's enough. But when you're going down, falling to your